Assuming that sine of u is 1/5 and the sine of v is 2/3, find the tangent of u plus v given that u and v are acute. Why do we need that information of u and v being acute? Why does that even matter? Well, there are two quadrants where sine is positive 1/5 and sine is 2/3. Quadrants 1 and 2. But by saying that u and v are acute, what quadrant must we be in? Quadrant 1. Because otherwise, one of the sides of the triangle will be negative. The cosine value. Acute means less than 90 degrees. Okay? So for both u and v, we must be in quadrant 1. What I suggest we do is we draw a picture. And we know that our angle is in quadrant 1. So here's u. Here's v. So if the sine of u is 1/5, where does the 1 go in relationship to u? And where does the 5 go? Hypotenuse. So what is adjacent then? And how does that clean up? Did that hurt? Good. And if the sine of v is 2/3, where does the 2 go? Opposite. Where does the 3 go? Hypotenuse. And what is adjacent going to be? Square root of 5. So, since we're trying to find the tangent of u plus v, so looking at these pictures, what is the tangent of u? Good. So now we just fill in the numbers. Someone else, looking at the pictures, what's the tangent of v? Close. Over. Oh, that should be 2 over square root of 5. I apologize. Uh-oh. Lost my line. All over 1 minus tangent u, tangent v. So even though the directions don't say it, please provide the exact answer. I'm only going to want decimals if I'm giving you a word problem. Now, we should technically clean this up. If you can imagine how much fun this is going to be. We have what is called a complex fraction. We have a fraction inside our fraction. So the best way of cleaning it up is multiplying everything by the LCD. What would the LCD be? Times. So in other words, 2 radical 30. But to make it a little bit easier of canceling, we'll just keep them separate. Please understand, the last term, even though it's got a prime and a multiplication, is one term. So it only needs 1, 2 radical 6, radical 5. So the very first fraction, what cancels? 2 radical 6. And you're left with radical 5 times 1, which is radical 5. Plus, what cancels next? And you're left with 2 times 2 radical 6, which is 4 radical 6. over, nothing cancels down there. Let's write that as, let's write that as 2 radical 30 minus, for the last term, notice everything cancels, so what are we left with? Minus 2. Now technically we're dividing by a radical. We should, if we want to be super awesome, rationalize by multiplying top and bottom by the conjugate. We're going to stop here. This is good enough for us. So what you're not allowed to do is, if I give you sine of u is 1/5, don't say u is the sine inverse of 1/5. Even though that's true, totally not going to help you get the right answer. Because you'd throw that into your calculator, get a decimal. I don't want any decimals for this entire thing. We don't need them, but you do need to draw some pictures. And again, the reason we need to hear about the acute part is because sine is positive in 2 quadrants. So the acute tells us which of those 2 quadrants we're looking at.